The most venomous animal in the ocean kills dozens of people every year. It's nearly invisible in the water. It has no brain, and it isn't a shark. It's a jellyfish. And in the Philippines alone, it kills more people every year than sharks do across the entire planet. That's not a reframe. That's just what happens when you actually measure which ocean animals kill people versus which ones we've spent 50 years being afraid of. The answer is embarrassing. For us, not for the sharks. So what are the things that actually kill people in the ocean? And why does nobody know their names? Stay with me. Most people carry the same mental image of ocean danger, a great white shark. You know, the famous one from Jaws. A massive predator with rows of teeth that can detect a single drop of blood in an Olympic-sized pool. In the open ocean that's still only dozens of meters away, not miles. It's one of the most effective pieces of fear conditioning in the history of cinema. And it has had real consequences. Decades of people pointing their fear at an animal that kills an average of 6 to 10 people globally per year, some years fewer. Think about it. 6 to 10 people globally per year. To put that in perspective, you're more likely to be killed by a lightning strike than by a shark. And lightning doesn't even live in the ocean. The problem isn't that sharks are harmless. They're not. They're apex predators with sensory systems that would embarrass most military hardware. The problem is that we decided sharks were the thing to fear and stopped paying attention to everything else in the water. And everything else in the water has been quietly doing significantly more damage ever since. The ocean's most dangerous animals don't look dangerous. That's not a coincidence. That's the strategy. Every one of them is built around the same principle. Get close enough to make contact before the threat is recognized. The great white shark telegraphs itself. A fin, a shadow. Movement you can track and react to. What actually kills people in the ocean tends to look like a rock or a floating ribbon of glass or something small and beautiful that you want to take a selfie with. We're going to go through 3 of them, and by the end of this video, I promise you will never again look at a shallow reef the same way. The box jellyfish is considered the most venomous animal in the ocean. It earns that title. Its tentacles can reach up to 10 feet long and are covered in hundreds of thousands of microscopic venom capsules. The moment a tentacle makes contact with your skin, those capsules fire. You don't choose to trigger them. They respond to touch automatically, faster than any nerve signal can travel, before you've registered that anything has happened. What happens in the next 2 to 5 minutes is the part that makes the box jellyfish something other than just theoretically dangerous. The venom doesn't attack one system, it attacks 3 simultaneously. Your cardiovascular system, your nervous system, and your skin cells. Your heart can go into arrest in under 5 minutes, which matters because you're almost certainly in the water when this happens. You have to be able to swim back to shore, call for help, and receive emergency treatment in a window that is shorter than most people spend in the shower. In the Philippines alone, an estimated 20 to 40 people die from box jellyfish stings every year. Globally, the figure is somewhere between 40 and 100. And those numbers are almost certainly underestimates because many countries in the box jellyfish's range don't have mandatory death certificate reporting systems. We genuinely don't know the real number. We just know it's higher than sharks. And here's the part that makes this feel truly unfair. The box jellyfish is almost completely transparent. Pale blue, nearly invisible against the surface. You can be swimming in water that's full of them and never know it. There's no fin cutting through the surface, no visible movement, no warning sign that most people would recognize. Just water, and then suddenly not water. And if you've ever tried to spot one in footage, you understand the problem immediately. The bell is roughly the size of a basketball, is pale blue, and in clear water it disappears almost completely against the light filtering down from above. The tentacles are thinner than fishing line. At depth, they're completely invisible. It's as if there is nothing to see until there is something to feel. They also don't have a brain. Their visual system is 24 eyes arranged in 4 clusters around their bell. These eyes can navigate the jellyfish around obstacles, track movement, and detect prey, all without a brain to process what they're seeing. Turns out if you're a floating cloud of microscopic hypodermic needles, you don't really need one. It has other priorities. The box jellyfish lives in tropical and subtropical coastal waters across the Indo-Pacific. It's most prevalent in northern Australia, the Philippines, and Southeast Asia. If you've ever swum at a beach in those regions, you've almost certainly been in water where they exist. Most people who encounter them without making contact never know it happened. The ones who do make contact know very quickly. If you're ever stung and you're near an Australian beach, reach for the vinegar bottle. Most beaches in box jellyfish territory keep them on posts along the waterline. Pouring vinegar over the affected area for at least 30 seconds deactivates any stinging cells that haven't fired yet. That's the one thing you can do while you call for emergency services. It won't neutralize the venom already in your system, but it stops the cells from firing further. Now for the animal that looks the least like an animal, because it genuinely doesn't. It looks like a rock. It sits completely still on the seafloor and does absolutely nothing. And people step on it constantly, which is the entire problem. The stonefish is the most venomous fish on Earth. It doesn't live in the deep ocean, it lives in shallow water. The kind of ankle-deep water you'd wade through on your way to the beach without a second thought. It's covered in algae and sediment and incrustation. It looks exactly like a piece of reef rock, which is where it got its name. And it doesn't just passively resemble a rock, it actively maintains the disguise. The stonefish accumulates algae, sediment, and marine growth directly on its body over time, layering the camouflage deeper the longer it sits still. An older stonefish in familiar territory can be completely indistinguishable from the surrounding reef, even to experienced divers who know what they're looking for. People step on them in ankle-deep water at popular beaches. The stonefish doesn't attack. It doesn't move toward you. It doesn't do anything predatory toward humans at all. Its 13 dorsal spines are purely defensive, but they're needle sharp, and the moment you apply downward pressure, they drive upward into whatever made contact and inject venom through grooves in the spine directly into the wound. Step on a stonefish barefoot in shallow water, and here's what happens. You feel it immediately, which is the good news. The bad news is what you feel. The venom causes what doctors describe as excruciating pain that peaks within about an hour and can last for over 12 hours without treatment. People who have been stung describe it as the worst pain the human body can produce. There are documented emergency room cases of stonefish sting victims begging for amputation of the affected foot. Not because amputation would be medically necessary, because the pain was severe enough that they wanted the limb gone rather than continue experiencing it. An anti-venom exists and it works, but it has to be administered within a few hours. Untreated stonefish stings can cause tissue death, temporary paralysis, heart irregularities, and in severe cases, death. The stonefish is responsible for hundreds of emergency room visits every year across the Indo-Pacific, and it never had to do anything. It just sat there. Now, I know what you must be thinking. The jellyfish is invisible and the fish is disguised as a rock, but at least these are things you might expect to find in the ocean. At least they look like they belong to a world that could be dangerous. Stay with me, because the next one is the size of a golf ball. The blue-ringed octopus fits in your palm, 4 to 8 inches total, including tentacles. It's one of the most beautiful things in the ocean, gold and brown, with iridescent blue rings that pulse and shimmer when it feels threatened. People encounter them in tide pools, and they want to pick them up, photograph them, maybe hold them for a moment. The rings are so striking that people actively seek them out. A single blue-ringed octopus carries enough venom to kill 26 adult humans. There is no anti-venom anywhere in the world. There has never been one. If it bites you and you don't reach a ventilator in time, you die. Not from organ failure, not from venom-destroying tissue, but from not being able to breathe. The toxin paralyzes your diaphragm. Your mind stays completely conscious while your body loses the ability to pull air into your lungs. You can see, think, and feel everything happening. You just can't breathe. Think about what that actually means for a moment. You're conscious. You can hear the people around you. You can feel the sun or the sand or the water. You understand exactly what is happening. Your eyes are open, but your chest won't move. Your body has simply stopped taking instructions from your brain on that one specific function, and there is nothing you can do about it except wait for someone to get you on a ventilator fast enough. And the bite is painless. You don't feel it when it happens. The octopus gives you every warning it has. Those blue rings get brighter, more vivid, pulsing faster. But if the bite comes, it comes quietly. Minutes later, the tingling starts, then the nausea, then your vision goes. By the time most people understand what's happening, they're already in serious trouble. At least 3 human deaths from blue-ringed octopus bites have ever been confirmed. 3. In the entire documented history of the species, because it's shy, nocturnal, deeply reluctant to engage, and gives clear visual warnings before it does. The octopus does not want to hurt you. It wants to be left alone. The problem is that people keep picking it up. The toxin is the same one found in pufferfish. It's considered about 1,200 times more toxic than cyanide. A quantity smaller than a grain of salt is enough to kill an adult human. One blue-ringed octopus is carrying enough to end 26 of them. It's small enough to hide in a soda can. It lives in shallow reef water and tide pools across Australia, the Philippines, Papua New Guinea, and the Indo-Pacific. Millions of people swim in its habitat every year. So here's where everything lands. Sharks kill an average of 6 to 10 people globally per year. That's the long-term data from the International Shark Attack File at the University of Florida, the most comprehensive database of shark-human interactions in existence. In a good year, it's fewer. In a rare bad year like 2023, it was 14 total. The actual long-term average for unprovoked fatal shark attacks is remarkably consistently low. The box jellyfish kills that many people in parts of a single country every year. The stonefish sends hundreds of people to emergency rooms annually and has caused fatalities across the Indo-Pacific. The blue-ringed octopus carries enough venom to kill 26 adults per individual, has no anti-venom anywhere on Earth, and lives in the same shallow reef water where families snorkel on vacation. And yet, the shark is what people fear. The shark is what the warning signs are about. The shark is what gets the drum lines and the nets and the beach closures and the summer blockbusters and decades of cultural dread that has fundamentally shaped how we think about the ocean. The thing that kills 6 people a year is treated like an existential threat to human coastal life. The thing that's nearly invisible and can stop your heart in 5 minutes gets a sign that says, "Jellyfish season, swim at your own risk," and a small article in the local paper when someone dies. Part of this is just how fear works. A shark attack is visible. It involves a recognizable predator doing a recognizable predatory thing. There's a shape, a size, a dynamic you can picture and tell a story about. A box jellyfish sting in the Philippines doesn't make international news. A stonefish hospitalization in Queensland doesn't trend. The blue-ringed octopus doesn't look like a monster. It looks like something you'd see in a jewelry store window. So the fear stays pointed at the wrong thing. And the ocean keeps doing what it does. We've spent decades fearing the shark, an animal that interacts with us and still barely kills anyone. Meanwhile, the ocean's true dangers don't even know we exist. They aren't hunting. They aren't malicious. They're just waiting. And we're the ones who keep walking into them. We keep watching for the fin. The fin is the least of it. Next time you step into the surf, just remember to look a little closer at what's under your feet. If you want to explore more hidden corners of the natural world with us, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next video.